Look at a map of the world and find the one continent that sits completely alone. No land bridge, no neighbor, an entire landmass cut off from the rest of the planet for tens of millions of years, left to run its own experiment in what life could become. That continent is Australia, and the result of that experiment is the single most dangerous collection of animals on Earth. People love to joke about it. Everything in Australia can kill you. But here's the part that isn't a joke. It's true, and it's not because of one famous animal. It's because this one isolated country somehow ended up with more ways to end a human life than anywhere else on the planet, and then arranged them around the beaches, the backyards, and the biggest cities in the country. The most venomous snake in the world lives here. So does one of the most venomous sea creatures on Earth. The most dangerous spider, the largest reptile, the largest predatory fish, not spread across a whole planet, stacked onto one island. Think about what that actually means. On every other continent, the truly deadly animals are scattered. A killer here, a killer there, oceans and mountain ranges between them. Australia took the champions of almost every category and put them all in one place. A single flight lands you in a country that holds more record-breaking ways to die than anywhere humans have ever chosen to live. The comfortable thing to believe is that the reputation is exaggerated. A few scary animals people love to talk about, and tourists are fine. And that's half true. Attacks are rare. Antivenoms exist. Most people live an entire life here without a serious incident. But that misses the real point. No other country on Earth concentrates this much danger across this many different worlds, the desert, the reef, the rivers, the suburbs, into a single place, and then lets people live right on top of it. So this is the definitive countdown. 15 animals that make Australia the most dangerous country on Earth, ranked not by how many they kill, but by how completely each one rules its corner of this strange, deadly continent. We start in the backyard. We end with the animal the whole world pictures when it pictures Australia. Number 15 is the one every Australian has met. Check the underside of the outdoor chair, the rim of the letterbox, the dark corner of the shed. That's where you'll find the redback, a small dark spider with a red stripe, and one of the most commonly encountered venomous animals on the continent. Its venom is neurotoxic, working on the nerves, and a serious bite can bring hours of spreading pain, sweating, and a deep sickness that creeps outward from the bite. There's an antivenom, and deaths are now very rare. But it's the right place to begin, because it sets the rule the whole continent obeys. In Australia, the danger isn't only out in the wild. It has moved in with us, into the exact structures we build. Nearly everyone here has found one somewhere they didn't expect, and that's just the opening act. The next 14 get bigger, older, and far worse. Subscribe now. We're counting all the way down to the animal the whole world fears. Number 14 hunts the camps and the islands. The dingo is Australia's wild dog, and it is far smarter than people give it credit for. An intelligent, adaptable hunter that moves in pairs and packs across the mainland and some of the islands, and whose behavior changes completely the moment people start leaving food around. A wild dingo keeping its distance is one thing. A bold, habituated one, working a campsite at night, is another entirely. It reads a camp the way a thief reads a house. Who's asleep? What's left out? Which child has wandered furthest from the fire? And it is endlessly patient. On some of the country's islands, where dingoes and holidaymakers share the same beaches, this exact collision has turned deadly. The problem is almost never the dingo that fears you. It's the one that has learned people mean an easy meal and lost every reason to keep away. And the next one doesn't sneak at all. It stands in the middle of the track and dares you to come closer. Number 13 looks like it walked out of the age of dinosaurs. In the wet tropics of the far northeast lives the cassowary, a flightless bird that can stand as tall as a person, with glossy black feathers, a vivid blue neck, a tall bony helmet, and a single dagger-shaped claw on the inside of each foot. It mostly wants to be left alone, but a cornered or provoked cassowary can kick with astonishing force, and that inner claw can cause terrible injuries. The danger is proximity. As the rainforest is cleared and houses push up to the forest edge, birds and people are funneled onto the same narrow strip of green, and feeding them turns a shy giant into a bold one. There are roads in the far north where the signs warn that a bird can do more damage to you than the traffic, and they mean it. At least you can see the cassowary coming. The next one, in the water, you won't. Number 12, swims where no one expects a shark. Most shark fear lives out past the surf. The bull shark moves it somewhere far more unsettling. It's a heavy, blunt-nosed shark with an ability almost no other large shark shares. It tolerates fresh water, pushing miles up rivers and into the harbors and canal estates of half the country. In Australia, that means the Brown River winding through a city, the still canal behind a suburban house, the estuary where kids swim off a jetty. It hunts best exactly where the water is murkiest and people feel safest, because a city river simply doesn't register as shark country in anyone's mind. Picture a hot afternoon, kids bombing off a jetty into brown water, a dog paddling after a stick, and a heavy shark built for exactly that murk moving through it, unseen. It doesn't need the open ocean to reach people. It follows the water inland, into the suburbs themselves. And the next one you could pick up and hold in your hand, right before it kills you. Number 11 is the prettiest killer on the beach. A child walks the tide line and pockets a shell, glossy, intricately patterned, easily the most beautiful one there. Except it isn't empty. It's a living cone snail, and folded inside is a hunter that fires a tiny venom-loaded harpoon fast enough to take a fish. In the larger species, that venom can be seriously dangerous, even deadly, to a person. And there is no anti-venom. None. That's the quiet cruelty of it. Everything about it says, "Collect me." Nothing says predator. A person can be stung simply by picking it up to admire the pattern. It kills, slowly, over hours, with no cure to reach for, only support while the body fights the toxin alone. Picture the drive home from the beach, with that shell rattling in a bucket in the boot, and no one in the car aware anything is wrong yet. And the next one is even smaller and even more beautiful, and works even faster. Number 10 flashes a warning almost no one heeds in time. At low tide, in the rock pools children are handed to explore, sits a small octopus, no bigger than a golf ball. Most people would call it cute, provoke it, and rings of electric, iridescent blue flare across its body. That's the blue-ringed octopus, and that gorgeous display is one of the most dangerous things on the shore. It isn't an invitation. It's the last warning it gives. Its venom is a tetrodotoxin, a paralyzing toxin for which there is no antivenom anywhere in the world, and the bite can be so small and painless that a person may not know until the numbness begins and their limbs stop answering. It is tiny, gentle-looking, and it hides in the safest feeling part of the whole coast. And the next one you won't even see, because it's pretending to be the seafloor. Number 9 is a rock, until it isn't. Out on the reef flats of the north, in the warm, shallow water where people wade at low tide, sits what looks like an ordinary weed-covered stone. Rest your weight on it, and you'll find it's the stonefish, widely considered the most venomous fish in the world. Its back carries a row of stiff spines that can punch venom straight up through the sole of a reef shoe as if it weren't there. The pain is described by survivors as some of the worst a human body can feel, bad enough to make grown adults beg for the limb to be taken off. And the horror is how passive it is. You aren't hunted, you simply place a foot in the wrong spot in beautiful, clear, tropical water. And from here, everything left on this list is among the most dangerous of its kind on the entire planet. If you're starting to realize just how much is out here, subscribe, because the top 5 hold world records. Number 8 doesn't run from anything. Almost every snake flees the instant it feels footsteps. The death adder does the opposite. It works itself down into the leaf litter until it all but vanishes, and it waits, sometimes for days, with a strike among the fastest ever recorded in any snake, luring prey in close by twitching the tip of its tail like a grub in the dirt. Think about that on any bush track in the country. The threat isn't a snake racing away where you'd see it. It's the patch of leaves you step over, without a glance, that hasn't moved in a week. Because it never flees, people can walk the same path past the same hidden adder for years and never know, until the one step that lands an inch too close, and the next one won't sit still. It rears up to meet you. Number 7 rises out of the wetlands. In the swamps, lakes and river flats of the south and east lives the tiger snake, banded, thick-bodied, and carrying potent venom. It hunts frogs along the water's edge, which puts it exactly where people walk dogs, follow boardwalks, and picnic beside the water on a warm day. It would rather flee, but cornered, it flattens its body, rears up, and becomes genuinely defensive. Picture a dog crashing through the reeds at a wetland reserve, and a snake with suddenly nowhere to go. That's the everyday moment where this one becomes dangerous in some of the most used green spaces in the country. And the next one is the animal that has haunted the imagination of an entire city for generations. Number 6 stands its ground when everything else runs. In the gardens, garages, and swimming pools of the East Coast lives the Sydney funnel web spider, widely regarded as one of the most dangerous spiders in the world. Glossy black and stocky, with fangs powerful enough to pierce a fingernail, it rears up when threatened with those fangs raised in one of the most frightening displays in the animal kingdom. In the warm months, the males wander in search of a mate, straight into houses, sheds, and shoes left by the door, and they can survive hours underwater at the bottom of a pool. It is one of the very few animals in Australia that appears to escalate rather than flee. It stands its ground, rears up, and can strike repeatedly with real force. Here is the fact that makes it remarkable, and it's a hopeful one. Since a specific antivenom was developed, there have been no recorded deaths. A city of millions now lives directly on top of the most dangerous spider on the planet, gardening, swimming, and raising kids, and simply learned to check its shoes and wear gloves in the flower bed. The danger didn't leave. People just outthought it. And the next one, you can't outthink. You can only stay out of the water at the wrong time of year. Number 5 patrols the beaches that define this country. Along the southern and western coasts, in the same surf that shapes the entire Australian way of life, moves the great white shark, the largest predatory fish on Earth. It hunts by rising from below, in water that can turn murky in an instant, built over millions of years into a nearly perfect ambush predator, patrolling coastline where hundreds of thousands of people swim every summer day. It must be said plainly, attacks are genuinely rare, far rarer than the fear suggests, and this is not a monster that hunts people. Most encounters are a case of mistaken identity that ends with the shark simply leaving. But rare is not never, and out beyond the break at dawn, a dark shape against a bright sky, you are simply not at the top of the food chain, and for a moment, to something looking up from below, you might not look so different from its usual prey. And the next 3 are not the largest or the most famous. They're the record holders, the most venomous animals of their kind alive. Number 4 lives right where the mice are, the woodpile by the fence, the gap under the shed, the dry grass at the edge of a paddock or a school oval. That's the home range of the eastern brown snake, by some measures among the most venomous land snakes in the world, and the single biggest cause of snakebite deaths in the country. It's slender, fast, easily startled, and completely comfortable living right where people do. And the reason is our own fault. Wherever people store grain, feed, and rubbish, there are mice. And where there are mice, there is this snake, thin and quick, and gone before you've registered what you were looking at. It doesn't want you. It wants the rodents your life produces. That's the whole paradox of it. It's the deadliest snake in the country, not because it's the most venomous, but because it lives closest to us. In the shed, the yard, the edge of the driveway, the very places we spend our days. Danger, in Australia, is rarely about how far into the wild you go. It's about how completely the wild has moved in around you. And the next one is the most venomous snake of anywhere on Earth. Number 3 carries the deadliest venom of any snake on Earth. In the remote channel country of the far interior, in some of the most isolated land on the continent, lives the inland taipan, widely regarded as the single most venomous snake in the world by measured venom toxicity. The amount of venom in one bite is almost difficult to comprehend. Drop for drop, nothing else on land comes close. And here is the twist that keeps it from number one. You will almost certainly never see it. It is shy, reclusive, and lives so far from anyone that recorded bites are extremely rare, most of them to people who deliberately handle snakes. The most venomous snake in the world spends its life in a place so empty that its greatest defense is simply distance. It has the deadliest venom on the planet, and almost no one ever meets it. The next two, you can meet far too easily. Number two, you will not see until it's on you. In the warm season, on the tropical beaches of the north, drifts a threat that turns the most inviting water on the coast into the most dangerous. Pale, glassy, near transparent, with tentacles that can trail for meters. This is the box jellyfish, regarded as among the most venomous marine animals on Earth. A serious sting delivers venom fast enough to send a body into shock, and in the worst cases can stop the heart within minutes, sometimes before the person reaches the sand. This is the reason people up north don't just swim off any beach in the warm months. The reason for the vinegar bottles and the netted enclosures. It is beautiful, silent, and effectively invisible against the light. No warning, no sound, sometimes barely any pain in the first instant. An entire coastline of perfect tropical water, surrendered for half the year to something you can barely see. That is how completely a single animal can own a place on this continent. And still, it is not the animal the world pictures when it pictures this country. Number one rules the water and the land, and always has. In the tropical north, the rivers of Kakadu, the crossings, the mangrove coast, the harbors, lives the saltwater crocodile, the largest living reptile on the planet, and the apex icon of the entire continent. It can hold itself completely motionless for hours, indistinguishable from a floating log, only a pair of eyes breaking a surface you'd swear was empty. It has learned people, where they fish, where they launch a boat, what time of day the bank gets busy, and it plans around all of it with a patience refined over more time than mammals have existed. But here is what earns it the very top of the whole continent, above the most venomous snake and the most venomous sea creature and every shark. It doesn't only rule the water. A big saltwater crocodile hauls out and basks on the land, moves overland between waterholes, and can cross open ground far faster than anything that size should be able to. It owns the river, the bank, and the space in between. Go and stand at a northern crossing when the tide turns and the fish start running, and you can watch them gather in the churning water beside a road people still use, waiting, as they have every tide, for longer than the road has existed. It is not an animal that reacts. It is an animal that waits, and remembers, and chooses its moment. And when it does, there is no warning, no struggle you can win, and no second chance. And that brings us back to that lonely island continent on the map, cut off from the rest of the world, left for tens of millions of years to invent its own answers to a single question. How many ways are there to kill? Because the real reason Australia is the most dangerous country on Earth was never a single animal. It's the concentration. One isolated landmass became the champion of every kind of death there is. The most venomous snake, one of the most venomous sea creatures, the most dangerous spider, the largest reptile, the largest predatory fish, and then set every one of them beside a beach, a backyard, or a city. Think back over the whole list for a moment. The redback in the shed, the dingo at the firelight, the dinosaur bird in the rainforest, the shark in the city river, the shell that harpoons, the octopus that glows, the rock that stings, the adder that won't move, the tiger snake in the reeds, the spider that lives in the pool, the great white off the surf beach, the brown snake in the yard, the most venomous snake on Earth in the empty interior, the invisible jellyfish that closes the beaches, and above all of them, in the water and on the land, at once, the crocodile. No other country on the planet could fill a list like that from its own backyard. And the most remarkable thing isn't the danger. It's that people live here anyway, in their millions, and treat all of it as completely normal. They shake out their boots, they read the water, they check their shoes, respect every snake, watch the beaches, and teach their kids to do the same before they can swim. They have learned something the rest of the world lets itself forget, that on this one continent, more than anywhere on Earth, you are not the most dangerous thing out there. So Australia was never the most dangerous country on Earth because of one animal. It's that one lonely continent, cut off from everywhere, quietly became the champion of every way there is to die, and then let millions of people build their lives directly on top of it and go to the beach anyway. We've been across this continent state by state, and there is still more of it to come. Subscribe and come with us.